Welcome to INN Student. INN Student is a platform for law students to come here and deliver a lecture on the topic of their choice. Today we have with us law student Madhu Chauhan. She is going to speak on honor killings in India. She is from KES Sri Jayantilal H. Patel College of Law. So without wasting further time, I would request her to commence with the lecture. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Madhu Chauhan from KES Sri Jayantilal H. Patel Law College. Today I am presenting my views on the most sensitive and painful topic, the honor killings in India. The word honor usually stands for dignity, respect and moral values, but when the word is justified to define murder, it loses all its meanings. This topic is not just about crime, it's about the deep-rooted conflict between traditional and constitutional morality, between social control and individual freedom, and between customary practices and rule of law. As honor killing refers to the murder of a person, usually the woman in her family, by the family and her own community, on the belief that the victim has brought a shame or dishonor to the family. This so-called honor may arise by choosing her own partner, marrying outside the religion, refusing an arranged marriage, seeking divorce, or even asserting personal independence. The irony is that the word honor is used to justify the act that is brutally inhuman. Honor killing refers to brutal murder of a person. All this in the name of so-called tradition. In India, honor killings are largely reported in states like Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, and most of the parts of Madhya Pradesh. Such crimes occur across the country. These killings are often supported, encouraged, and honored by Khap Panchayats, informal caste-based bodies that claim authority over social conduct. While these bodies have no legal standing, their decisions often result in violence, social boycott, and even deaths. The most alarming aspect of honor killing is that they are premeditated and socially sanctioned crimes. Families plan the murder together, relatives become executioners, and communities remain silent spectators. In many cases, the killers believe that they are not committing a crime but fulfilling a moral duty. This mindset exposes a dangerous flaw in our social concept. One of the major contributors to honor killing in India is the role of Khap Panchayats, an unofficial caste-based body that issues illegal orders controlling marriage and relationships. These bodies have no legal authority, yet their command result in violence, social boycott, and deaths. From a constitutional perspective, honor killings are a direct violation of Article 21, which guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. They also violates Article 14, which ensures equality before law, and Article 19, which protects the freedom of choice and expression. The Indian Constitution recognizes individual autonomy, not family or community dominance, as the foundation of democracy. So, the Supreme Court of India has repeatedly commended honor killings. In the case of Lata Singh vs. State of Uttar Pradesh 2006, the court clearly held that the adults have the right to marry anyone of their choice, and honor killings are barbaric and shameful acts in India. In Shakti Vahini vs. Union of India 2018, the court issued preventive, remedial, and punitive guidelines to curb honor crimes that were declared by the Khap Panchayats, and it cannot interfere in personal relationships. Reliable nationwide data on honor killings is scarce, showing both unreporting and definitional issues. Officially, the NCRB only began tracking honor killings as a motive for murder in 2014. Even then, the numbers were low. The first annual count in 2014 listed just 18 cases nationwide. More recent crime records obtained via parliamentary answers shows 25 cases in 2020, 33 in 2021 and 18 in 2022. These official figures for murder cases explicitly tagged as honor are undoubtedly underestimates. They exclude many incidents recorded under general murder or culpable homicides without noticing the motive. According to the Home Ministry, in 2022, about 145 honor cases incidents occurred in 2017 to 2019. However, one Tamil Nadu NGO counted 195 cases in the state alone over 5 years. This gap indicates many murders with an honor motive either go unclassified or unpunished. There have been some incidents that have happened recently that were reported either from UP or Punjab. The brutal murder by one's own family or community not only affects an individual but also threatens the whole section of society that wants to marry or make a relationship outside the social norms, though it is illegal to do so. The state's response is often sluggish, and detailed FIRs and weak investigations further aggravating the problem. Statistics from the NCRB and civil society reports show certain states are hotspots. In 2025, the Supreme Court observed that the root of one Kerala Tamil Nadu intercaste murder was the deeply entrenched hierarchical system of caste and said honor murders must get a strong measures of punishment. This shows how this crime stems from casteism and social pressure. Our constitution recognizes the individual not as a family or community as the basic unit of democracy. Not a single law exists at the national level to prevent and punish honor killings. Instead, perpetrators are prosecuted under general criminal statutes. Currently, all the cases are covered under the category of murder, half murder, attempt to murder, abatement, conspiracy, and criminal intimidation. If victims are kidnapped or forced for marriage, they may fall into another category such as kidnapping, marriage. However, none of these categories recognizes honor as a motive. This treat honor killings as same as any other murders. In practice, this means a killings, casteist or homophobic intent in often obscured and punishments may be lighter. In criminal jurisprudence, the motive behind the crime is a crucial factor in the determination of punishments. Therefore, treating both honor killing and general killing as the same crime is not legally tenable. The homicide with such a motive is also against the right against discrimination, since it indirectly supports the concept of casteism and purity. Moreover, while honor killing is primarily related to caste and interfaith relationships, it also increasingly targets queer individuals whose relationships are perceived as bringing shame to the families. Although Supreme Court in Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India expanded the ambit of Article 21 to include dignity, autonomy and identity, same-sex relationships due to threats, forced confinements and even honor-based violence. These constitutional guarantees often remain symbolic. Therefore, it is important to ensure the legal responses account for homophobia and transphobia as potential motives under the motive of protecting the honor. We have some specialized laws that offer partial and limited coverage. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 can apply when a Dalit or Adivasi person is attacked due to caste prejudice. For example, in 2003 case of killing of a Dalit Vaniyar couple, the court later convicted the police for violating SC/ST Act by failing to file an FIR. However, neither the victim nor the offender belongs to an SC/ST community. The act is irrelevant. Further, the act does not explicitly mention honor killings. Choice is not a crime, freedom is not dishonor, love is not illegal. Despite this strong judicial pronouncement, honor killings continue due to weak enforcement, social pressure, fear of ostracism, and lack of witness protection. Often, family police officers hesitate to act against influential families or community leaders. Victims who escape face threats, isolations, and economic hardship, forcing many to return to their families that want them dead. It is also important to understand the gendered nature of honor killings. Women are disappropriately targeted because their bodies and choices are not seen as a carrier of family honor. Patriarchy dictates that a woman's disobedience defines respectability while a man's control defines honor. When a woman exercises choice, it is viewed as rebellion deserving punishments. This reflects not honor but fear of women's autonomy. Honor killings are also deeply gendered crimes. Women are targeted more because the society believes that a woman's body carries family honor. Another disturbing factor is the absence of specific law addressing honor killings in India. These crimes are prosecuted under general provisions of Indian Penal Code such as murder, conspiracy and abatement. However, many legal experts argue that separate stringent legislation is necessary to recognize honor killing as a distinct social crime involving collective guilt. Honor killings also reveal the clash between traditional customs and modern constitutional values. While cultural and traditional are important aspects of the social society, no traditional religion or custom can justify murder. As Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar rightly said, constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment, it has to be cultivated. So, what can be done to end the honor killings? First, strict and fearless law enforcement. No family, name, caste, or community should be above the law. Safe houses and protection mechanisms for couples facing threats. And finally, social courage to stand with victims and not with the killers. They are about control, caste supremacy, and fear of individual freedom. A society that kills its children for choosing the love is not a protection of culture. It is destroying humanity. True honor lies in respecting life. True honor lies in protecting freedom. Strong legal enforcement is essential. Police must act swiftly, independently, and without fear. Second, there must be a safe house and protection mechanism for the couples. Third, education and social awareness are crucial to challenge aggressive mindsets. Schools, colleges, and media must promote ideas of consent equality, and media must promote personal liberty. Lastly, society must stop glorifying honor based violence and start standing with victims, not perpetrators. In conclusion, honor killings are not about honor, they are about control, caste supremacy, and patriarchal dominance. They stain the moral fabric of our nation and mock the principles of justice, liberty, and equality enriched in our constitution. A society that kills its own children in the name of honor is a society in urgent need of introspection. Love cannot be a crime. Ultimately, real change requires shifting social norms, but till then, the law and policy can help to protect the couples caught between centuries old prejudice and constitutional rights. The founding fathers of the constitutional envisaged the nation where personal liberty outweighed a patriarchal custom. Honor killings, whether in the name of caste, religion, or gender, strike at the vision. Legislative reforms backed by effective implementation is the need so that the family's honor can override an individual's fundamental right to life, liberty, and dignity. Until India recognizes honor killing as a distinct legal crime, the constitutional promises remains a hollow shield for those who dare to love. Thank you.
Madhu, thank you very much, because this is again a very sensitive and a social topic, honor killings. So it was a nice presentation. You had analyzed, you have given some data, you gave some case laws, And once again, I feel happy that that student times you are touching these topics. This shows that you are somewhere socially connected. It's not only you are learning law, you are also getting connected to the social life which is going on over here. So thank you very much. A small token from Hammurabi to you.